Okay, if you guys remember back to the yellow sheet that we did on Thursday night, we had a situation where some poor guy named Renard was trying to solve a situation about bags of caramel candy and taffy. And at first it asked you to write two equations to represent what was going on there. And so the two equations we had come up with in class were that we said let T equal the number of taffy bags and let C equal the number of caramel bags. And we came up with two different situations. The first thing they told us was the number of taffy bags is 5 more than the number of caramel bags. So we said the number of taffy bags equals 5 more than the number of caramel bags. T equals 5 plus C. And the other thing we knew is that taffy bags weigh 8 ounces each, and caramel bags weigh 16 ounces each, and then we end up with a total of 400 ounces. So this statement is telling us about the weight of our bags. This statement is telling us about the numbers of our bags. And it was asking us if we could use the equal values method to solve this. So one way to do that, here our equation is already sort of in y equals mx plus b form, or rather in t equals mc plus b form. This one is not, however, this is not in slope-intercept form. So let's try and solve it so that we've got the same variable alone, our t variable. So I'm going to start by subtracting my 16c so that I have 8t equals 400 minus 16c. And then I want to divide both sides by 8. I end up with t equals, 400 divided by 8 is 50 minus 2c. Now I have two equations, both in y equals mx plus b form, and I can solve for 5 plus c equals 50 minus 2c. Just setting that part of that equation and that part of that equation equal to each other. Then I can solve for c. I'll add 2c to both sides. Then I'll subtract 5 from both sides. And then I'll divide both sides by 3. And I end up with c equals 15. And then I could substitute my c back into one of my original equations. Let's do this one because it's nice and short. So if t equals 5 plus c, and c equals 15, then t should equal 5 plus 15, which would make t equal to 20. If I were to run a check with my other equation, if 8t plus 16c equals 400, well then I should find that 8 times my value for t, which was 20, plus 16 times my value for c, which was 15, would equal 400. 8 times 20, 160, and 16 times 15, let's see, 16 times 10 would be 160, 16 times 5 would be 80, and 160 plus 80 would be 240. Is that going to equal 400? Let's see, 100, 60 and 40 is 200, and 200, yep. 400 equals 400. So, that worked out. But what a lot of you guys did was a slightly different method that's actually a shortcut, and that's called substitution method, and I want to look at that one. So, given those same two equations, if we say one more time, let t equal number of taffy bags. Let C equal number of caramel bags. And I write my same two equations. T equals 5 plus C, and 8T plus 16C equals 400. What a lot of you said was, couldn't I just put that in for T? Yes, you absolutely could. And what you're doing there is called substitution. Remember, we can think of our equal sign as being a scale. Beautiful scale. And what we're saying is if I had T on one side of my scale and and 5 plus C on the other side of my scale, it wouldn't tip at all. That scale is even. These are the same thing. So if I wanted this scale to end up the same, if I substituted my T out for something that sort of weighs the same, my 5 plus C, this scale should stay balanced too. So I'll rewrite this. Now I've got 8, and I'm going to substitute in my 5 plus C plus my 16C equals 400. Now I have an equation with only one variable in it, my C variable. I can solve for that without having to do any changing to get this into y equals mx plus b form. So I'll just start by distributing. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 8c, plus 16c equals 400. And 40, combine my like terms, 8 plus 16 is 24, c equals 400. And I can subtract 40 from both sides. Get 24c equals 360. And let's see, I don't have a calculator handy, so I'm going to do this sort of in my head. Let's see, 24 is divisible by 6, and 360 is divisible by 6. 24 is divisible by 12, and 360 is divisible by 12. I'm going to start by just dividing them both by 12. Do this in 2 steps. So 24 divided by 12 leaves me with 2c. And 36 divided by 12 leaves me with 30. Now I can divide by 2, and c equals 15. And that, if we go back and look, was the same value that I got for c after doing all of this simplification work. So just by substituting for one of my variables, I was able to get down to my identifying one of my variables much more quickly. And then I can go and do the same thing. I can test my c in one of my original equations. T equals 5 plus c. So t would equal 5 plus 15. So t would equal 20. And I already did the check back on my first page to show that those two values did in fact work. So this, in a nutshell, is the substitution method. All right, hopefully that might help you out with your green sheet this weekend. If not, we'll talk about it on Monday.